third.
Yeah.
When that happens, sure, it keeps happening.
Okay, any questions on
grade school was the only time we graduated our
school district calendar resolution?
Not a question, it's fun. I like the layout of this document. It's
Yeah.
easier to
Real
read
easy to
than
read,
when it was
yeah.
printed across the bottom.
Real easy to
Our
read.
teacher. Colorblind, you got a problem.
Yeah, this right here, these, the patterns here sometimes don't print very well on some of the printers too. So thanks, great. So we'll take the feedback, if there are any changes we can make, we'll continue to do so.
Okay, Dick?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried 601. Resolution 1920-170, approval of coaching contract for spring sports. So moved. Motion by Nora. Seconded by?
I'll second. Jenny?
Tom?
There was one thing I wanted to mention from last week. Our boys basketball team had an organ donation night that raised $1,500 on senior night there. We have one of our players that's probably going to need some of that in the future. And they had a really nice crowd and big event for that. So, and there was a little presentation at halftime by the Save a Life people, and it was pretty well received. So that was a nice little feature. Spring sports, everybody is pretty much coming back from last year, so that's kind of nice. Not too many new faces, a lot of consistent returning coaches that are coming back. You can see there's quite a few that have 10 plus years of experience there, and some have many more than that. Like our varsity track coach, he's got like 5 times more than that. But we do have our 2/3 of our middle school staff in attendance there for track. So I'm asking that we can approve these contracts for the upcoming school year, or for the upcoming spring sports season.
Now, our comp model stops at 8 years, right? So anything 8 or over, it pretty much levels out. One of the things for us to talk about, so we do have a graduated model where as a new person, where it's your first couple of years, it's at this rate, then it goes to, I think we've got, it's 3.
It's 1 to 3, 4 to 7.
There you go, thank you. So, but with that, like, the base of that has not changed. So it's based upon a number from
2012, 2012.
Something like that. So that's something for us to consider, where there are increases to coaching stipends or contracts, right? It's a stipend, so for coaching stipend. So there is the natural increase based upon years of service, but we have not made any changes to it to reflect any kind of cost of living thing. And if the number was 2012, so we're talking 8 years now. So it's something to discuss. It's not on my docket for a budget increase as of right now, as we're trying to figure out how to handle budget reductions, but it does matter. So so the conversation for us today is how do you attract and retain staff? So,
On Wednesday evening, I'm having our spring sport coaches meeting, and if you look up there, there's quite a few teachers that are coaches, but for our non-staff, there's a lot of public works training that they have to accomplish, and we're going to do all of that together. Then we're going to have an all coaches meeting after that, and then we'll have our CPR training. Val Christian is going to be offering that for the district this year. All of our paid WIA coaches have to have CPR training every other year, so we thank Val for that.
So Public Works is an online module system we have, and recently we went through kind of a little bit of a reboot on what people are required to do and not. So there's a lot of training that's required by federal law, then state law, and then our own policies are saying that they have to do that. So welcome to coaching, and now, by the way, watch
You got 15 tests.
7 hours of modules. So it's something that we really do need to acknowledge with them.
There's many of those are very valuable, but to be cognizant of their time and such, it's going to be a lot easier for us to go through it together. So I'll be running that with them for about 45 minutes to an hour to give them the high points and making sure that they are up to speed.
And we actually met and we tried to figure out what we could just kind of weed out for the training, and all of it was pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna do it as some of the stuff in a whole group setting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great.
So I put together a slide presentation with links, and we're gonna go to each of the links and take a look at everything and, you know, do it that way, so.
Yeah, so we decided that just because it's, we have these online modules that has a test, doesn't mean that everybody needs to take a test. Like, it really is about the exposure. So that'd be like, hey, if we did a presentation on bloodborne pathogens here, say, well, everybody get ready, here's a sheet of paper out, now you take a test. We don't do that with the faculty either. So, but these modules automatically require you to take a test. There's 10 questions every single module, and you have to get a 70%. The key part is they are exposed to the content, and then we can check for understanding.
In addition to that,
once
there's,
in a while, are we required to take any of them?
None of those. Now, I would say.
Not in our policy, right? They don't know.
No, I would, so here's what's happening. That's really, really good. Thank you for saying that, because what's happening in the world of trying to save a penny, and none of this has to, like, right now, we're not talking about coaching contracts, are we? No, sorry, it happens. So, we are shifting from public school works to school works. School works is free through our commercial insurance provider, okay? And public school works we purchased, and it's at about $4,000 a year. So the key part is that we understand this is the kind of training that's required, and now we'll deliver that, but we're gonna still use school works instead. So right now, like when it comes to like those emails and things at a board level, just push them to the side, because you don't need to know bloodborne pathogens training and the different fire extinguishers and stuff. You're not in a supervisory position. However, I would say when we get a reset next fall and they're assigned, I'll make sure to talk to you about them in advance to let you know, hey, this is what's coming. Because there will probably be just a few.
in addition to those tests that we're talking about, all of the coaches are required to take a once in their career National Federation of High School examination on concussion protocol and sportsmanship, as well as every year they have to take the 100-question WIAA sport test, so they know the rules and regulations, as well as about a 45-minute rules meeting that's online they have to sit through. Okay, so there's a lot of requirements that coaches have to do just to get that. So it's
And that's without putting in all of the
Oh,
hours
yeah,
of practice and travel
yeah.
and games.
So, the only other thing I'd just like to share with you is, as you know, I've resigned from the football position due to my current roles that I'm doing, and try to alleviate some of my time a little bit so I can do everything that I need to do. I will be bringing forth Scott Hilber in the near future at the next meeting as our next head football coach. I still have some other coaches to find for the fall, but we're hoping to get all those staffs solidified by May this year so we can do it long before the end of the summer like we did last year. So.
Any questions for Tom on these spring sports coaching contracts? Norm?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you.
One. Thanks, Tom.
Thank
You bet.
you.
Okay, any possible future action items? Announcements?
Do we need to be thinking, or are we thinking about possibility of this coronavirus?
Yeah, we have a lot of resources that we've been receiving from the AASA, which is the superintendent organization, plus the Department of Public Instruction and the CDC. So we have a lot of stuff, and really what it comes down to right now, everybody wash your hands. That's it. So I would say until things start to get a little bit closer, we have a great deal of resources that have been shared with us. And anybody and everybody, as a United States of America, go to the CDC website, that everything's on there as well. But if we do start to get more questions, like we have absolutely had sickness. There have been lots of kiddos that have been out. And it's I'm not going to say it's influenza. We have had, I know of one case that was diagnosed, actually shared with us that it was influenza. But it's just, kids, they have a cold, they have the flu, but they're not going to say it's the, right. So it's been a lot. So we already have signs up all over the place, wash your hands, So some bathrooms at the middle school today, wash your, like, everywhere, wash your hands, which is great.
Yeah, there have
In
been,
many different positive ways.
have been some districts around us that have closed for a week.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
of excessive,
Yep, elementaries and the entire building closed so that the cleaning crew could come in. And less the cleaning crew, I thought to myself, you know, thank goodness for the cleaning crew that's willing to go into that space where everybody's getting sick. Same for the healthcare providers right now in general that are helping to mitigate the problems at hand. Like right now, this is what we know about coronavirus. If anybody has coronavirus, they get quarantined, right? So literally, what is it, 14 days, 10 to 14 days, I think they're supposed to be quarantined. So we had a discussion just today about, is there something that the PTA could do to be a support if a family ended up having the coronavirus? And so really, I think if you end up being quarantined is the deal. So it'd be providing help for them, running and getting food and doing that kind of stuff, because they just have to stay home. Same exact thing would be in this kind of pandemic world that we're discussing here. If anybody who works in a district, if they have coronavirus, they have to be quarantined. There's no option for them. And so I have heard discussions about, you know, they're at work, they get it when they're at work. Is this work-related illness then? Well, the flu's not like that, is it? Nothing else is like that. So these are discussions that are up there. I don't have an answer. I don't know what the answer is to it. So let's just hope it doesn't get there, right? But hope is not a strategy.
I saw I happened to see the CDC guidance to schools today, and that was one of the best pieces of guidance I've seen so far. So I thought it was really well done for where we're at.
So I have shared these resources with administrators. We've shared it with people on the office staff. Now it's just like, okay, and how do we use that? So right now we're just getting prepared and making sure that we understand. It comes down to just doing a good job of cleaning and maintaining the buildings. And if people are sick, you need to go home. You know, that's probably what I would say to everybody right now too. Hey, err on the side. If your child has not been sick a lot this year and they're not feeling well, keep them home. You know, like
I would just like to say, as a parent that's run into trouble with that 10 absent thing
Yeah.
every freaking year.
Right, I know.
That's why.
Right, did you see see what I said first though? If your child had good attendance, that's what I said? Yes, I know.
I have kids that end up sick a lot.
Tom and
Tom is
I.
right there if you.
I know.
Tom
I've talked with Tom, we've gone through this, yeah. Found out Adam was sick a lot last week again.
So with this, and this is a complete, we're gonna shift modes here. Like, just so you know, the city has moved to more of a municipal court piece, and now we're headed to Beaver Dam. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So things may change a little bit. We may end up with like a local truancy ordinance, that kind of stuff. Yes, exactly. So with that, though,
I'm still keeping my sick kids home, period, regardless.
Those are parentally excused absences. When it comes to attendance, we may have a conversation because, you know, the best way to learn is to be in school, right? Be present. In the meantime, the Dodge County is not looking at how many times did you keep your sick child home over 10.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the piece. That's not the kind of truancy that's going to raise a red flag.
No, I
So-
don't.
But
But I don't
still,
worry about it.
So thank you for being a parent and communicating with us about your child's attendance. It's very important.
you see a lot on TV with the sanitizing they're doing, and particularly the films you see in Japan. I hope that what they're using to sanitize isn't more dangerous than the
No,
disease
yeah.
itself. That-
We are looking at some different equipment to purchase for like our fitness center to spray it down, just so you know. So our unique spaces that we have, we're probably going to purchase some different cleaning equipment. And it has nothing to do with coronavirus. It just has to do with, hey, everybody, there's a lot of sickness this year. So we just need to just keep looking at what new resources are out there that can improve what we have.
We gotta do it at the tag center so the kids can learn early.
Okay, so need a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 1935, parent C. To consider employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation data of various district administrators, professional staff, and support staff over which the board has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Motion by Norm. Second. Second by Jim. Norm?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 6-0-1.
Okay. What was the second?
I
Jim was the second, right?